Afternoon, America. Brian James Blam here. I want to welcome you back to another episode of What the Fuck Stuff. And again, I'm gonna continue on this trek I started a little while back before getting involved in Arizona partisan politics in the Republican Party side, and talk about again the river of mud, the bureaucracy, and some of the challenges our MAGA elected candidates, especially Donald Trump, are going to face, and sort of to give you a better understanding of what our governments have been doing to sort of undermine our local elected officials' ability to bring the policy changes sought by, of course, we the people. But before I go there, I did a shout out, about a week ago to those people whom I believe Arizona would not have gone for Trump had they not been actively involved. Donald Trump stands on their shoulders. I want to do a shout out to two Twitter handles as well: Arizona Desert Rose and Arizona Pink Lady. Both of these individuals are critical to the work I do. They're critical to the work We the People Arizona Alliance does, and go follow them. If you want up-to-date, accurate, conservative news and information, follow these two individuals because they put out some really good stuff. Both of them are phenomenal researchers and investigators. So if you like this new investigative journalism growing around Twitter and growing around social media rather than the ABC, NBC, CBC crap we always used to get fed when we were children, I would strongly encourage you to follow them. And so with that, I want to turn back now to the administrative state. Those of you know, we have a federal level of government. We're not just one monolithic government, right, that oversees all. We're not like Joe Stalin calling all the shots over the entire Soviet Union from his bed in the Kremlin. Rather, we have a federal government, and we have state governments, and we have county and city governments, each of them with their own sets of powers and freedoms to do essentially as they see fit, especially as you move down to the local level. But the federal government has 1.9 million employees, 1.9 million members of what I call the administrative bureaucracy, right, or the administrative bureaucratic state. If you include active duty military, that number becomes 3.1 million. We know it was the upper echelon of the media, and many in this bureaucratic administrative state or regime that immediately opposed Donald Trump after he was elected in 2016 and sought about to find ways to remove him from office from the get-go. And then they spent the first 4 years of his term trying to remove him from office, and then the 4 years of the phony Biden term to throw him in jail and to utterly and completely destroy the man. Right, and so this is in much part led by the bureaucratic administrative state. Now the 1.9 million here is written in this legislative box, but that's for the entire federal bureaucracy. Each one of these branches of government has its own bureaucratic administrative state. So if we got 1.9 million at the federal government, we've got 50 states, and each has their own bureaucratic regime, and then each county and city has its own bureaucratic regime. You can start to see the sheer volume of this bureaucratic administrative state that has been there for a long time, and that, after employees are employed for a very long time, they begin to take on this self-import, this view of self-import, where then they think that they know what's best for America regardless of who's making the policy decisions. And that's why it's a river of mud, right? You're constantly fighting this bureaucracy to try to guide it in the policy direction you want, and it's like fighting you all the way, every step of the way. And so this is Donald Trump's greatest challenge. That's Justin Heap's greatest challenge all the way down in Maricopa County. And so the bureaucratic administrative state. At the federal level, probably the two worst offenders are those in the national security agencies and those in the national health security agencies, those led by people like Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx. Those are the organizations that have all of the intelligence. I put them both up there as national security because they work together, right? It's the National Health Institutes that work with the CIA and the National Security Agency and the Defense Department to develop all of these bioweapons in all of these laboratories around the world, and do other things along those lines. Very, very, the pharmaceutical industry is buried very deep into these national health security agencies, almost like the Raytheon and the other defense contractors are buried very deep in the national security agencies and Department of Defense. And so trying to move this bureaucracy, it's like, sitting on the back of a huge bull, trying to rein it by the head and steer it the direction you want it to go can be very challenging. That's why Donald Trump needs to find a way to eliminate many of the employees in these agencies so that he can slim them down, make them smaller and easier to control, and have people there that are going to follow the direction of the elected president rather than saying, no, we won't go that route and you can't make us, and we're going to do everything in our power to stop you. Okay? And so this is very important, folks. These people have a lot of power. The administrative bureaucratic state has a great deal of power, but it was never elected, right? They're put into place typically by elected officials, or the bureaucracy hires outside of the electoral or the political process. And they're put into place, and it's very, very difficult to remove people. So as we talk about term limits for members of Congress, I think it's incumbent upon we the people to also start talking about term limits for members of the administrative bureaucratic state, so that, that's why people like Mark Elias, right? Mark Elias came out and said, oh no, the Chevron doctrine is the death of democracy, right? Because Mark Elias doesn't believe in the concept of democracy you were taught in school. He believes that it was this bureaucratic administrative state, these so-called experts, that were better suited to guide America down the proper path, and that they should be the ones doing the governance, not our elected officials. And so the Supreme Court removing the Chevron doctrine was a huge step forward in ensuring that we can rein in this bureaucratic administrative state that over the last, since the Cold War, has developed this mindset that they are the people in charge, that they are the people who know best. And so just look at it. All of these people, in the national security agencies keep talking about Russia, 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 right? Okay, it's tired, okay? You've overdone your welcome, right? But they have learned how to scare us, folks, from a very early age. Go back to the 50s and watch videos that they were putting out with their friends in the mainstream media of children having bombing alarms go off in school and then hiding under their wooden desks, right? Fear, folks. They inculcated you with this huge fear of what at the time was known as the Union Soviet Socialist Republic, so that they could use that fear to guide your behavior, both in elective politics and with the direction they sought to choose with the bureaucratic administrative state. And so we cannot let them use Russia to scare us anymore. Russia cannot even defeat the Ukraine, let alone the United States of America, So we have absolutely nothing to fear from Russia. It's a trick and it's a trap to get you to continue supporting these industries that are makers of war, whether it be the NSA or the National Health Security Agencies. And so we need to get control of this bureaucracy so that it stops dictating terms of our existence to us and once again becomes responsive to who? To we the people. And with that I say peace.